Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. How are you folks doing today? Welcome to the live stream. Let's do an audio test. Testing. Affirmative. Welcome to our late night live stream. It's not that late. It's only 6:19 here in Great Falls, Montana. But I am going to be cranking pretty hard for about the next hour, hour and a half on artwork. And then I got to get to bed because we got a super early morning tomorrow. And but still, I got to get commissions done. And we are still working on this one gentleman that has continued to confound me. We made a little bit of progress, and then I got off of it onto another piece of work. Time to get back at it. So, let me get my software open here and switch our display to the correct display, which I believe is this one. Here we are. Okay. And we'll change our reference photo here, and then we'll get started. Love getting your comments. Feel free to chat in if you want. And for anyone watching in the future, oh, something freeze? Hang on. Something freeze? No, okay, nothing froze. Okay, so for those of you who are watching, please know in the future. Whoa, what happened here? Let me go to, is it this one? Nope, definitely not. This one. Nope, definitely not. This one. There we go. Anyone watching, this is a live stream. So if you start watching this and going, dude, your video is way too long, it's a live stream. One of my live streams went super popular and got like tons and tons and tons of views. And one of the comments I get is, hey, your video is too long. I can't stand how long you talk in it. And I'm like, dude, it's a live stream. Live stream. Hello. Okay, anyway. So I am going to get started here, and if you wouldn't mind, smack that like button for me before you see me do anything. That way I can have your like before you even begin watching out. Oh, looks like we got someone out of the country commenting in. Possibly spam, who knows? So we'll get started here in a half a second. So let's see here, going back to our screen cap here, and I'm adjusting my photo, my reference photo. I'll have to work on Samo another day. Right now, we're still focusing on Ribbit right here. I'm going to keep working on this guy, getting him drawn up, trying to crank out, getting those colors a little bit better matched up. And also, let's see if we can brighten up my camera here a little bit. Okay, okay. So we're going to change the ISO. ISO. And I forget how to do that. Oh, this button. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. I'm looking. Here we go. There we are. Okay. So, let's just make sure everything is set like I should have done before I even started. And we'll get started on getting this guy drawn up here because I really need to get this commission done and get paid for it. Okay, let's move right into this thing here. So for those who know that I have been waiting to go to the doctor to find out when my surgery is, I found out today. We'll be having surgery on March 23rd. And the unnerving thing is that the doctor who will be doing my procedure has said the options that may be going on. One is that they need to stretch out my throat, which is what I expected. There's a certain name for that, but they got to stretch out my throat. Go in there, they're going to do a scan, check my throat out, and see what's going on. If it's not that, then I may have some pretty serious acid reflux damage from years of having acid reflux and not treating it, which I didn't really know I had acid reflux until just recently, or GERD, I guess they call it. The other possibility, which has me absolutely frightened, of course, is that I may have cancer. Now, that's merely one of the theories that is not proven in any way. So we'll go for the first option where they got to stretch my throat open, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, little slightly unnerving. So if anyone's praying people out there, if you would do me the kindest honor and keep me in your prayers, we will see how this whole surgical thing goes down. We'll go from there, I guess. That's all you can do, right? So, but the good news is if they do find that my throat just needs to be stretched out a little bit, they will be able to do that during the procedure, which makes me pretty happy. So they'll go in there, check things out, and they're like, oh, well, let's stretch him out. That's all that he needs. Then they'll do that during my procedure instead of having to reschedule another surgery to do that. So we will see what happens. But end of March, March 23rd, I will be under the knife. It's happening. Ah, boy. And the unfortunate thing is March is going to be so incredibly busy. It's going to exhaust me. And then the surgery is going to exhaust me even more. So March is going to be a terrible month. Pocket 280 broken. Hey, Tim, I know it's been a while. I'll be praying for your speedy recovery. Also, years ago, you mentioned a bad experience with anime. Care to elaborate? Yeah, sure, no problem. Thank you so much for the question, Pocket. That's awesome. I didn't have a bad experience with anime. What I had was a growth experience, and I'll explain what I mean. I had oh, Yoredo. There are people that say the caricature that says the caricature it must be more exaggerated or even distortion. What do you think? Okay, well I'll cover Pocket's question and then I'll cover yours, Yordo. And welcome back. I recognize your name there. So I'll keep it pretty brief actually because it's a fairly simple thing. Um, Anime is a beautiful art form. It's a wonderful art form. And there's many different variations of it. But unless you're planning on working in Japan or in China at one of the publishing houses and working with them, anime, at least during the time years back that you might remember that video, anime was so widespread among young adults and so many people were drawing it, there was nothing unique about that art. And because there was nothing unique about it, no one, you were very, very unlikely to be hired by a publishing house or something to become an anime artist. But because anime was and is so popular, a lot of the young generation, including myself, really, really focused in on learning how to draw anime. Now, the bad experience that you're mentioning, what actually happened is there was a man named Tom Allen who is and was an incredible artist, still alive, still making money with his art, still an incredible artist. My dad invited him over to my house and invited him to sit down and look through all of my artwork. I was very excited about it because this man is truly a professional. He has made hundreds of thousands upon thousands of dollars in his art form. So when you have the opportunity to be judged by one of these men, you don't say no. You'd be very, very excited about that, right? Well, he looked, and as gently as he could, he said, you will probably not make it in the illustration and art world with this artwork. And I was totally ticked off by that. I hated that he said that because I studied really, really hard in that anime style. And I drew so many characters in that anime style. And my friends drew that anime style. And everyone I knew was doing this anime style. And it was the thing, it was in. And yet, here's this professional that I very much looked up to saying, yeah, no, this is this is subpar. And it's not subpar because it's bad artwork. It's subpar because you're no different than anybody else. How is anyone going to pick you out of the lineup of all these other artists and say you are the one who should be doing our artwork? Um, and so he gave me the punch in the face that I needed, not literally, and said, you need to come up with your own style. You need to find something different than everybody else. You need to find something unique and separate than anybody else. And when you do that, then you will find success. So the world of caricature is a wonderful place because you accidentally and naturally over time find your own style because you accidentally walked into that. And the end result is once you do that, and once you've stepped into that realm, because you naturally go what works for you, you find that style. And now people hire me fairly often to draw caricatures for them because they like my style in comparison to any other artists out there. And that's a wonderful feeling, and a feeling that you deserve to have when you invest your time creating your own style and not following a template style, aka anime, Western art, Saturday morning cartoons, comic book. Create something that is you. Find something you like, learn how to draw it, and then elaborate, adjust, twist, contort, stretch, bend, warp. Find a way to make that yours. Different colors, different theories, different feelings, different emotions. Make it yours. That way you're not copying someone else who's amazing and you're just in their shadow, but you are singular, you are you. That would be my suggestion. That would be my answer to you, Pocket. Very good question, by the way. The next question. There are people that say the caricature, it must be more exaggerated or even distorted. What do you think? There is a humongous, humongous, humongous difference between exaggeration and distortion. Distortion is an improper version of caricature. Distortion is moving things around and not keeping them in proportion to each other so that you keep likeness. Distortion is a dangerous thing. Exaggeration is a beautiful thing. And if you can exaggerate, it can be an incredibly beautiful thing. I have locked myself in a box and I've hurt myself over the years because I haven't exaggerated enough. And I think that that has created me as a illustrational caricaturist, which basically is almost like a portrait with adjustments in a cartoony style, and that's why people like me. But truth be told, I have still missed out on one of the most amazing things that I could do for myself, and that's learn that exaggeration. If you get the chance, go look at the first live stream that we did about, well, just look at the first live stream that we did within the last 2 weeks. Okay? And that was drawing this guy. At that time, I thought he was Skittles no, Ribbit FPV. He's actually Skittles, so I got their names backwards. And what I did was I knew that supposedly he was Ribbit, and so I was thinking he was like a frog. So I tried caricaturing him off the look of a frog. And oh my gosh, it looked amazing. Amazing. So you'll need to go find that video and watch me do that sketch. It's when I'm doing thumbnail sketches of him. And I did like 4 or 5 thumbnail sketches. And one of those was the most funny, comical, frog-looking style. But it looked like him, and it was funny. So if you can learn to exaggerate correctly, you can be an incredible and beautiful caricature artist. If not, then you turn into me, and you try to exaggerate, and you struggle with it. I struggle with it a lot. Unfortunately, that is not my preference. Now, if you can learn to exaggerate, though, and as I do caricatures every day, I look for ways to exaggerate. And it is a beautiful thing when it happens by accident. It's a beautiful thing when it happens on purpose. And all you got to do is just keep driving forward to get there. So please do it, though. You will be glad you did. 100%. 100%. So I hope I answered both your questions. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. The only thing I'll ask of you is if you enjoyed the answer, hit that like button for me. Let me know that you appreciated it, okay? And we'll get back into the drawing here. I love answering your questions. I am so passionate about teaching and answering questions. That is so much fun for me. So thank you for asking. I mean that. Okay, moving on. Great questions, though. My gosh, great questions. You are very welcome, Yordu. Very, very, very welcome. I enjoy it very much to be able to answer your questions. And I hope that that inspires you to go and have some fun. All right, let's go ahead and thank you for the prayers for my health, by the way. I do appreciate that. That is a very new thing as of today, and my wife asked me how I was doing, and I said I'm doing okay right now because I don't have a choice in this. I don't have a choice to feel anything at this point in time, but I gotta admit, it's definitely a scary thought. And all I can think is, you know what? If this is something more severe, I hope that it can be solved. If it can't be solved, if time is running out for me, then God's going to do what God's going to do. He's never let me down, and if it's time to go, it's time to go. So I just hope I leave some awesome legacy behind that someone can enjoy and learn from. And that's what this channel was always about, and that's what my other channels were always about. That's how it goes. So I'm trying not to let it go to my head because it could be something super simple. It could be something solvable. It most likely is. And you don't want that stuff going to your head and screwing you up. So, but I admit I've never experienced this kind of a feeling before. Never been through this kind of a situation before. And all I can do is pray for guidance and hope that there's a plan that God has in mind that will use me in a way to bless Him. Simple as that. He's given me a great life, I'll tell you that, man. What a great life I've had. Let's see. I am a school teacher and possibly might be doing an after-school caricature club. And I remember talking to your monthly Discord. Oh, taking your monthly Discord classes over a year or two ago. Thanks for your godly love. Well, thank you so much, Pocket. Let's see. Did you have another login in the Discord? Because we only had about 4 or 5 members at that time. So I'd probably remember you if I remember what your username was. Because, yeah, we did those classes for a while and they just didn't really grow. And I was getting a bit exhausted by it all. So I just decided it was time to move on to other things. And so I started up that other YouTube channel and focused in on that. We got like 5,000 subscribers on my new channel and stuff, and a lot of great stuff going on over there. So I would like to draw you. How can I send you? I have my YouTube channel. I would like you visit. Yeah, sure, absolutely. You can definitely, if you have like an Instagram or a Twitter, you can send it to me through those. Oh, yeah, Santiago. Dude, I know you. Drawn you multiple times. How you doing, brother? Awesome. Yeah, of course I know you. Yeah, you won't remember me. What are you talking about? You did great. I got so many of your drawings in this whole channel here. Pete's sakes. Yeah, you can send a drawing over in Instagram or in Twitter, and you can send it over to just look up official_legacy studio if you want to send something over. I'll be happy to look at it, and I'd be happy to check out your channel. Just send me a link through one of those, okay? Yeah, I remember you did a self-painting that turned out quite well. And we freshened it up a little bit and got it a bit more lively. I think you were really, really good at Disney stuff. I think that's the kind of stuff that you were really rocking. Yeah. And recently I decided I was just going to try and focus in on doing some more artwork and get some more sales in because I'm got a few other things going on in my life right now, especially with this health stuff going on. It's like, good heavens. Thank you so much, Urdu. I look forward to seeing it. Yeah, that was me. I tried to do the art for a living, but I didn't have the clout behind me, and I need the money. No, trust me, that's exactly what's going on with me too. I'm drawing caricatures because I need the money. It's these days that is more of a requirement than a choice, and that's just how it goes. And every time I come back here and start doing something here on Draw2Much, you guys remind me why I love drawing, and hanging out with you guys. And then I'll go back and I got my guys over on my other YouTube channel going, hey, when are you going to make another video? We're waiting on this next video. Why didn't you release one this week? And I'm going, artwork. Got to do artwork. Sorry, guys. Oh, gotta pay the bills, man. Gotta pay the bills. All about the bills. How show up on Instagram? That would be official underscore legacy studio. So it looks something like this. So on Instagram, it's official underscore legacy studio. And on Twitter, it's first Tim 412. Okay. What else we got here? I went back to being a school teacher. I teach second grade, but the school loves using our God given gifts for his kingdom. Awesome. And the admin want me to teach an art club after school next year. And you should. Absolutely. Get to work. That's great. Do it, do it, do it. You got the time, get to work, man. That's fantastic. Ooh. There Okay. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I know Iska. I was with Iska for many, many years. Yeah, the International Society of Caricature Artists, Yordo, that's where I got my start. And that's where I got hired to Disney. There's someone that was in the International Society of Caricature Artists that found me on there and hired me to work at Disney. So don't be afraid to join them if you want to. They're good people. They're very good people. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm not very talkative for everyone who might be watching in the future video. If you watch this live stream in the future, seems like we're getting an awful lot of views of people who are watching the live stream. So thank you so much. That has been quite a surprise to see a bunch of people. How was your experience at Disney? That's a good question, Creative. Good to see you here again, by the way. Thank you so much for asking. So just like, what is it like to work at Disney as a caricature artist, or what? Give me a little bit more of what you would like to hear about specifically, because there's many different aspects of Disney, or employment at Disney, or atmosphere, or the fact that you can only have your beard so long, all those, excuse me, all those details. So let me know what would intrigue you to know. It's a very good question. You know what? I'm having a change of heart. I guess I'll go ahead and assume that you're asking about what life was like as a caricature artist out there. Um, it was a very wonderful experience. Came with its cons, but it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. Oh, how long have you been making caricatures? Okay, I'll get to yours in a bit here, Yordo. And how was it like the transition from analog to digital? Okay, we'll get to that one in a second. So yes, did you enjoy working there, and did they train you as a caricature artist? Well, that's a different thing completely. So good. I'm glad you asked, because that is a different scenario completely. As I told Yordo, that Iska was an incredible place to meet fellow artists. ISCA is an absolutely incredible thing if you're thinking about caricaturing. There's so many wonderful people in the International Society of Caricature Artists that will be ready to take you under their wing, and just work with you to help you get better. If you can take critique, it's a wonderful place to learn. Just because you have like-minded people there, that was wonderful. And I was just barely getting started, and someone contacted me one day and said, "Do you want to be a Disney? Do you want to come and work at Disney with me?" And I said, "Who are you?" And the guy told me his name. He's a really great guy. His name is Keelan, and Keelan said, "Well, why don't you come and work with me?" And so basically, for me to work with them, I had to go and audition. and that means I had to sit down with one of their guys. His name is Ted, and I sat down with Ted, and my goal was to draw him at a certain amount of time. I drew him, and no, wait, I got to rewind back. I'm sorry. Keelan asked me to come and work with them. I said I'd love to. What do I do? He says you need to audition. Send us over some of your artwork so my guy can see it. I got an email from this guy after I sent over some artwork, and he told me you're not ready yet. And basically, the long story short is, I thought he was file 13ing my stuff, because he said we'll come back and check on you. And if you don't know what file 13 is, if you don't know United States or American lingo, file 13 means is throwing the resume in the garbage. And so I was sure he was not going to contact me back, and it kind of broke my heart. A while later, they did contact me back, and they said, you want to give it a shot again? And I said, yes, please. So I met with Ted. I drew a couple caricatures with him. He drew me, I drew him. I think I still have those original caricatures somewhere, believe it or not. And he says, you're getting there, but you need more practice. But you know the best way to practice? And I said, how? And he says, you get thrown to the wolves. So they hired me to work at Disney as a contracted caricature artist. Being contracted at Disney means you don't get any perks, you don't get any insurance or anything. You are paid as a business owner. You own your business as a caricature artist, and you are contracted by this company to come and work in their booths at Disney. And it is quite fun. Now, if you live in Florida where I lived about an hour away from Disney. You would drive 40 miles, which equals about maybe an hour drive to Disney. So you're spending a lot of gas money to get there. And then if you drive on certain roads, they had tolls. So you were paying tolls to go through these really nice roads in comparison to taking back roads, which would take you maybe an hour and a half to get to Disney, depending on traffic. So by the time you got there and got home, you had paid about $7 in tolls alone, not including gas. So it was expensive to get to and from Disney. Depending on what location you were at, depending on what location they put you in, you had more chances of selling at one location than another. So if you were a starting artist, they would put you out in easier booths, and you would learn because people would come up and buy caricatures from you, and you learned on the spot. That was how that went. They would offer hints here and there, but you were by yourself. You were a business, and you were there to do your job as a business. So you worked at it, and you learned as you went. And it was a wonderful way to learn. That's actually the way I learned best. So I personally loved it. The problem is, there are certain nights you will sit there at that booth for 4 hours. A shift is usually about 4 hours at some of the locations at Disney, and you would draw nobody. The place would be dead silent. No one would be there. And within that 4 hours, you would make no money. Now, being contracted means you're paid a commission off of what you draw. And that commission is split 3 ways. It's split between you, your contractor, and Disney. So if you drew a caricature that was $30, Disney gets $10, your contractor gets $10, and you get $10 before taxes. You handle your own taxes. So if a normal caricature that most people are going to draw is $10, and you want to walk away with $100, you need to draw 10 caricatures in the next 4 hours, which doesn't sound bad until no one shows up. And then, depending on what their request is, well, you might not end up drawing a $30 caricature. You might only end up drawing a $15 caricature, which is faster, but you're still not making the money that you're hoping to make. So there were certain days where you'd do really, really well, and you'd walk away with a lot of money, but you would be exhausted because you drew 20 people or 30 people in a single day. Other days, you would go in working a different shift at a different booth, and you would make absolutely nothing, and you would actually pay out of your pocket to get into work and get back and not make a cent. That was the deal of being contracted. You didn't get tickets to go into Disney. There were no perks. You got what you got, and that was it. Um, in saying that, that was the negative side of it. The positive side of it is you met amazing people. If you worked at some of the theme parks instead of working in the hotels, you got to work with some of the most incredible artists ever. And you got to not only work with them, but be taught by them. Because all those amazing artists were right there ready, just because they were so incredibly friendly, ready to give you advice on how to improve your art. And it was absolutely fantastic to work with. You would get hired to go and do gigs at special parties for big VIP companies. You would go with your bosses and draw as a group of 10 or 15 caricaturists at big dinner parties, or companies that have traveled to Disney to have a company retreat. Um, there was tons of opportunities to have a ton of fun, to draw amazing people, and to draw all day long. And if not draw anyone, then to still draw something that maybe you personally would be inspired by. The experience was so much fun. Uh, and there were locations that I loved that for other artists was far too quiet and they never made a cent. But for me, because I loved that location, I found a way to sell it and actually make money through it better than other artists did. And that's why our bosses would tell us there is no bad location. All of our locations are good. But the ones that touch your heart the most are the ones that will actually sell, and will be best for you. And so I had my favorites. Um, if you ever go to Orlando, one of my favorite locations was the Wilderness Lodge. That was a ton of fun to work at when I was a caricaturist out there. I also I worked at all the All Star resorts. I didn't get to work. I loved working the Polynesian. I think they shut down that caricature booth after a while, but the Polynesian was such a fun place to work. Really, really great places. I loved working in in certain places. And when you have the right heart to work in those places, oh, so much fun. So much fun. So that would be my answer. Certain days would be fiery hot at 90 degrees, 9,900 degrees, working outdoors in a costume that was very, very awkward and vibrant and uncomfortable. And then other days, you would be working indoors in such a cold, air conditioned space that you were freezing your butt off because it was so cold. Uh, I worked one of my favorite locations to work, and I still forget the name of it to this day. It was based after Africa, and you it's an African safari location. I forget what it was called though. And the thing I loved about it is the location was right near the bathrooms. And you go, why would you want to be right near the bathrooms? Because everyone was going to be going through there. And if you knew what you were doing and you knew how to work that booth and get people's attention, believe it or not, you can get a lot of people interested even when they had to go to the bathroom. So I really liked that location because it was really, really quiet, and so I could just enjoy focusing on drawing fun little caricatures to inspire people to come and walk up. And once they did, I'd have great conversations with them, and they'd end up sitting down and getting drawn. I remember one day I drew someone, and I was just telling them about my life. By the time it was done, they paid $100 for their caricature, and they gave me a $50 tip. 50, $50 tip. And I said, why on earth are you doing this? And their answer, because I have not had so much fun all day, except right here in this moment. You made me laugh. I mean, come on, that's cool. That is cool. Um, so yes, when you are in those scenarios where you're not making any money and you're fearful if you're going to get a paycheck enough to do it, to survive, it's a very challenging thing. Now, during that time, I was pretty young, so I actually lived in my parents' house, and it worked out pretty well for me. But when I decided that I wanted to marry my amazing wife and have a family, aka two dogs, and live out here in Great Falls, Montana, well, I knew I had to get real work. And so I went and I worked at a graphic design firm in Orlando. And I still worked at Disney while I was working at that graphic design firm. But I was doing far less hours, and I was mainly doing events and parties that they hired me to come out with and work with other artists. It was a ton of fun, ton of fun. Okay, how long have you been making caricatures? I've been doing it since 2008. And how was it like to transition from analog drawings to digital? It was insane. Because, and I actually mentioned this in a previous live stream, that make sure to hit that like button for me, guys. If anyone's watching, hit that like button for me. I'm watching that like count. I appreciate when you guys hit that for me. And please apologize. I'm going to apologize really quick. I'm going to do something that everyone's going to be like, ah, really? I am going to turn on the monetization. I'm sorry, and I should have turned it on earlier, but this does help me actually pay some bills. So I appreciate when you guys put up with those ads and the monetization so that I can make a few extra bucks while I'm trying to make some extra bucks. All right. So to answer Yoredu's question, the transition from digital to analog to digital. Here's your answer. When I started in caricature, I was drawing on paper, inking with markers, coloring with watercolor. When I decided that I wanted to try and do digital caricatures, I had to buy a tablet that didn't have a screen in it. So what I was actually drawing on was I was drawing on a flat surface, looking at the computer monitor ahead of me, not looking down at my hand, and it was the most confusing thing on planet Earth. And it takes a lot of time and practice to learn how to actually do that successfully. Very, very challenging, very frustrating, takes time, takes practice. Once you do it and you get the hang of it, well, then my parents surprised me during that time, and they bought me my first Wacom Cintiq. It's a 12-inch tablet. It's an awful lot like an iPad now, like the bigger iPad. And Wacom is an incredible company. So if you get the chance to have a Wacom tablet, go for it. You will love it. But back then, there wasn't such a thing as an iPad with a pen, which I have now, and it's still incredible to draw with. And I've drawn maybe $10,000 in caricatures off of my iPad. But in saying that, once I got my first digital tablet that was a touchscreen, or what back in the old days was called a digitizer, literally, then my caricatures, how quickly I did them, went from 0 to 100 miles an hour in no time at all. To draw a caricature on my tablet where I had to look at my screen when I was doing it would take me 2 or 3 days. When I got my first drawing tablet where I could actually draw on the screen like I'm doing right now, I'd have a caricature done in hours, not days. Incredible change in speed. So that was my transition. You were an OG digital artist. I remember you interviewed Aaron. Aww. Man, you did tell me you went back to the beginning with me, but dude, you are bringing back some memories, brother. Santiago, you're bringing back some memories. And Aaron Blaze is doing so well these days with his creature art teacher stuff. He's doing so good. And Psychra. Good heavens. And Cartoon Block. Wow. Those were the OGs in digital. I was just the little guy who tried to make my way up. Those were the OGs. And of course, Aaron Blaze. No one could be more OG than Aaron Blaze to allow me anytime to even talk with him. And don't forget, the interview that I did with Aaron Blaze, I lost it. He came back and I interviewed him twice. That's how good Aaron Blaze is. That is a cool person. That is a cool person with a good heart. Anyway. LOL, exactly happened to me with the tablet. Recently changed the old little tablet by another one, a bite bigger, but I hope in a nearby future to get one with a screen. And honestly, if you get the chance, just buy a used iPad. buy a used iPad Pro, get yourself the right pen for it because they have different pen generations now. But get yourself an iPad, and it really isn't any different because Clip Studio Paint Pro, this exact software, and I mean this exact software, works the same way on your iPad. So why not have an iPad that can go further? It's a great way to start. It's very comfortable. You can take it with you anywhere. I would strongly say if you have the opportunity. Now, if you want something bigger, then get something big. But if you want the opportunity to have something to go with you and maybe start doing digital caricatures out in the real world, well then an iPad is absolutely fantastic. Just so you know. Just so you know. Oh, I love this, guys. Thank you so much. I've had a really crazy day today. I deeply appreciate you guys being here. I do mean that. Thank you so much. And for anyone who's watching on the video later, thank you for checking out the live stream. I know as soon as you see the word live stream, you immediately go like, ah, it's a live stream. I wouldn't have any interest in it, and yet you're still come and you watch it. And I'm getting more views because you guys are watching this than if I made a video and released it on the same topics. For some reason, you guys are liking the live streams more. I deeply appreciate that. Thank you so much. I mean that. I mean that. Good memories. Good memories. Pocket, you're taking me back, brother. Taking me way back. Good memories. All right. Inside trick, guys, if you're curious about a little inside tip. When you draw highlights and eyes, try to get them in the same place as much as possible. Because remember what a highlight is, it is a reflection of the source that it is highlighting. So if you put them in two different places on the eye, it is going to look really wrong. Because remember, eyes reflect whatever they see. So try your very best to keep that reflection in there in the right place. I even remember the robot. I saw that the other day. Oh, why? Why did I leave that up too? And the world's largest GameStop video. I remember that too. Back when brims were a popular thing, you know, ball caps without the top. At least I thought they were. That day was a fun day. Something that I don't think you guys did would have seen. that day I was just riding around with a couple of my kids from my church. We were all just hanging out. And so we were, I don't remember why we were on that side of town, and I'd never been to the GameStop over there. But I remember by the end of that day, we had went into Walmart and we bought a bottle of helium for no other reason than to very carefully, you don't want to do this, it's dangerous, but to do a little bit of like beatboxing and just having some fun with some helium. You breathe it in, you get that fun little thing. And so we were just having fun. And I don't remember where we were going. I remember that day we also went to Cece's Pizza, which was really popular down in Florida in that time. And one of our kids decided he was going to get anchovies on his pizza, and we made him sit on the other side of the restaurant by himself because that stuff stank all the way across the restaurant. Good kids. And then just in the last 2 years, in the last year, I actually married off one of those kids. I was the best man at his wedding. It was pretty sweet. All right, looking for my highlight that I drew. There we go. Take that and drag it up above the other layers. There we go. See, and here's the thing. When I look at how I use YouTube, I start on a YouTube channel that I love. And I start watching it and I get subscribed to it and I start getting updates on it. And after a certain time, I just stop watching it. For some reason my ADD kicks on and I realize I'm just not interested anymore. And I have always assumed, and I think I'm for the most part right, but I have mainly assumed that that's how most people are on YouTube. And I think it's true. I think that is how most people are on YouTube. But in saying that, it is really crazy to hear people like Pocket/Santiago and other really amazing people still remember my original content. And if you don't remember it, if you don't remember that time, you still went back and looked at it. Because there have been certain YouTube channels where I know I've loved the channel so much that I've gone back to its original origin videos and watched those just to see those people grow up to turn into what they've become, you know? So for you to still be sticking around and see me go through so many seasons of my life, I don't like that time of my life at all. I don't. Well, I like certain parts of it, but there's a lot that I regret about that time of my life. There really is. And so I am so thankful that God used that time to put something out there with me that I can actually appreciate, you know? And that you guys can actually appreciate. It has nothing to do with me. It's much more important to me that you guys, your hearts are being touched because of content that I made back then. I mean, that I had no idea what I was doing. Not even in the slightest. So the fact that it still touched your hearts, and either you went back and you saw the origin story of Tim Lee / back then Tim Michael, or you've seen. I mean, you've seen a lot, and you followed me through that lifetime. That's crazy. It's insane. I wouldn't do that on my channel. No, not even close. My wife is probably going to remind me here pretty soon that I got to get to bed because I got an early morning tomorrow. So I will probably begin wrapping up our evening here shortly. Unfortunately, not by choice, but yes, I do have an early morning tomorrow. I found out today that one of our guys who's been working with us, he's been an intern with us for a long time, and we have officially hired him, which is very exciting. It makes the DJ's lives a lot easier, and he's actually a pretty decent DJ um, at the radio station that I work at. So I'm really thankful that he's working with us. But we decided that we were going to put him in my office, and I needed to move offices. So I spent a lot of today moving offices and trying to get as much done today as I could before I had to rush off to my doctor appointment. And then after that, now, honestly, I got to go into work tomorrow, and none of my stuff is set up that needs to be set up for me to do my radio show properly. So I got to go in early tomorrow and get an early start on it so that I can have everything up and running so I can get my job done properly. So I got to get in there. And my wife needs to go in early too because she's got some kind of a business meeting she's got to hit. I was raised by strict Christian parents, like I was, and there were only a handful of channels I could watch back in 2008. You were 12 at the time. Oh gosh, look at us now. Look at us now. But isn't that the thing, though? And that's the thing I kind of love. Because the channel that I have now, that I've really invested my time in, is a gaming channel. And it's not because I like games. I don't know anything about games. But my content over there, because of the audience that I have over there, likes to watch me play video games. And so I've created this channel where I'm playing video games. But the goal of the channel is much, much different than most YouTube channels, because my goal is to keep the content as clean as possible. Because when that 12-year-old Santiago walks in there, I want his parents to know that he doesn't need to worry about being in there. So I play very specific games, and I try to gear it for adults. I want it to be for adults. But if that random kid walks in there, I want to make sure that that is a safe place for them. And so that is the reason why that channel still exists the way it does. So, and the fact that, I mean, which do you enjoy more, being an artist or a designer? Being an artist. Being an artist. I've done graphic design, but I did graphic design because I needed to make a paycheck so that I could marry my wife. Oh, you meant to type DJ. Oh. I think I like drawing. I like being an artist more. I think that's still fair to say, because in my life as a DJ, um, I have to do several different things, and it's my work. It's my work. But I mean, recently, my art has become much more my art, and I focus on it like it's my artwork and not so much like it's paid work. Like today, I just got in some new brushes. These are Tish brushes or Tishy brushes from Rosemary. These just got shipped to me from Great Britain, which is pretty sweet. So I was messing with them a little bit before I got on here onto the live stream. And I tried drawing moss. It looks like Angry Jesus, admittedly, and my wife was laughing at me because it looks like Angry Jesus, which I have no intention of drawing an Angry Jesus, but I was just trying to paint something with color that wasn't skin tone. And so that's Moss, my character that I do, my angry Scottish character. And I painted that with acrylic. And that was like 30, 45 minutes of painting, you know. But that's mine. That's my own design. That's my own thought. That's my own passion. I mean, so being an artist and getting to do fun stuff like that, I mean, that to me keeps me calm, you know? It helps me focus on me. It's when you do what I had been doing and drawing caricatures all day long, hours on end, into the night until 3 o'clock in the morning, that you end up really, truly hurting yourself. And that is exactly what I did. I hurt myself. I wore myself out so badly that I exhausted my desire to be an artist. I do enjoy being a DJ, but I'm actually more of a host than a DJ. So basically, what that means is I just do a lot of talking, and I announce the next song that comes up. My job is to fill air, and I also report the news, which I don't like reporting news because news is full of politics, and I try to stay as far away from politics as possible. So, um, but my life is politics now, unfortunately, and that's not a choice. That's just what my job entails. And so I try to make it as comical as I can, and I try to make it as funny as I can, and I try and use the news in satirical ways to try and make it more palatable for my listeners. But I'm trying to do that in a very awkward way. It's not entirely that much fun. But it is fun to interview people. It is fun to meet new people and things like that. So I do enjoy that. But yeah, there's other aspects I don't like as much. Nature of the beast though with the job. All right, I'm gonna do something I probably shouldn't do, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So let's go ahead and go like this. It's a good question though. Thank you for asking. I do enjoy my job though. I do, and that is something that I have done jobs that I hate. I've done it, and I am very thankful to be in a place in my life where I'm doing a job that I actually am okay with. No job pays enough, but that's not the point. I don't know how this is going to look, but I'm curious about it. So we're going to try it. Usually I use blue, but today I'm trying green just because I see a little bit of green in the image of him. It doesn't feel very right, but what I'll do is I'll just tone it out, and then maybe we'll just hue and saturate correct to green and see if that works better. We'll just work with what's natural on his face right now. Yeah, see, like that. Perfect. Let's see what color we actually chose. Yeah, pretty much blue, like a teal. That looks right. He doesn't really have that, so I'm trying to keep it very, very faint, but he's a guy. I want it there. Excuse me for picking my nose on camera. I didn't pick my nose. I scratched my nostril. Okay, there's a difference. But it is kind of itchy. All right. Oh, I'll give you another insider thing to know about working at Disney. People have body odor. Bad BO after spending a whole day at the theme parks in 95-degree weather, and then they come and stand over your shoulder right here and watch you draw right over your shoulder right here with their armpit right near your nostril. It's a little stinky sometimes. You get used to it. I mean, truth be told, you're using markers that are highly toxic. So everyone else is complaining that your markers smell incredibly bad. You can't tell because you're too busy drawing and you've worn your nose into it so much that you've lost all track of smell. I got a lot of horror stories on that side. you ever do the proposal caricature? Proposal caricature? The proposal caricature. Oh, did I ever do a proposal caricature? I feel like I did one. And truth be told, I don't remember. I mean, I drew thousands of caricatures. If you think about it, I drew daily, Monday through Saturday, about 10 caricatures a day for 5 or 6 years straight. So that's a lot of caricatures. I feel like I did once, but at the same time, I might be remembering another artist drawing it. Because that is an incredibly unnerving thing. I've done a lot of funny things that felt like they were wedding proposal kind of caricatures, but as far as I can recall, no. I think as far as I can remember, I'm going to say no, I haven't. And I'm okay with that because it's a very, very challenging thing to do. It is, yeah, I'm gonna say no that I haven't. I think I'd remember that. I think I would remember that. But many of my coworkers did, and they were so glad when they were done, and they kind of regretted doing it at certain times too. So yes, it completely negated everything I said that I possibly have done one. But you'd think that I would remember that one because those are the nerve-wracking ones. Those are the ones that you truly remember, and you can't go back and make changes. You can't be like, "Can I start this over again?" When the guy's waiting there with a ring, kind of like, "Dude, please, come on," you know. I definitely watched a ton of people do it. Watched a ton of my coworkers do it, and every time that was them and not me, and I'm like, "Oh, thank God." So unfortunately, this guy is Skittles FPV, which is kind of a shame because I really like the the ribbit caricature I did. There's a video game where a fan asked the developers to write out his proposal in the game, only for them to break up after the game released. Exactly. See, this is why you don't do stupid stuff like that in the public. My wife, when I was discussing with her the idea of getting married, she told me, "Please just do me one favor," and I'm like, "What's that?" She says, "Don't do a public proposal." Got it. Not because she wasn't sure, but because it was just embarrassing, you know? That person that you're considering proposing to better be someone who absolutely loves being in the public eye, you know, and loves being noticed by people because that's kind of bold and upfront. There's no escaping that once you've done that. Maybe I should do this differently. No, let's go with it. Just go with it. Alright, I think once I get this name finished up, then I gotta go hit the sack. It's time for bed for me. It's 7:31 over here in the night, which doesn't sound very late, but actually for me, I probably should have taken sleep meds at about 6:30, and I should be crashing out right now to be ready for my morning shift tomorrow. So I need to go ahead and wrap up here in just a moment, but I'm going to go ahead and at least get this name painted in and try and kind of get it so it's legible. I know right now I'm just kind of painting the silhouette of it. All right, let's see if we can make some sense of this. Woo! Woo-hoo-hoo. Got awful quiet in here. Hopefully I'm doing something that kind of has you guys' attention. I'm trying to do something a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Graffiti-esque. I'm not sure if that's what the client wants, but usually they aren't too angry by the designs I come up with, so just kind of enjoy going with my gut on some of this stuff. Gotta get it just right. Alrighty, folks. Well, I'm about ready to wrap up here for the night. Chest is hurting a little bit, so it is time, and I need to go get some sleep here for the day shift tomorrow. Very busy day coming up tomorrow, especially since it's also Friday, so there's a lot to knock out for the weekend. But I hope that you've enjoyed today's live stream. Thank you so much with putting up with random live streams for our content here on YouTube. That was not my intention when I started this channel many, many moons ago, as the awesome Pocket would know. But that is going to wrap up our video here today. And I hope that you come back again next time that we're live here on YouTube. We'll continue to crunch away at this because this needs to be done immediately. I've delayed far too long on this because I've drawn this guy's face about 3 or 4 times, and I've just gotten very, very sick of every time I've drawn him. I just have not liked progress. And it's still not my favorite, but in my opinion, it's better than it was. So thank you so much for watching. When we come back, we'll get this all finalized here, and then we'll link him up with his girlfriend that we've drawn up, and we'll put them in the same caricature together. We'll make sure that they're also separate individual caricatures. They'll go out to the clients, and then we'll move on to our next client. If you're interested in becoming a client, I would love to draw you up. My prices start at $100 and move up from there. And I would be very, very happy and honored to put you on my list to get you drawn up. And you will be heavily supporting me and this channel. Consider buying a caricature from me. I don't have a place where you can buy. You just need to get in touch with me on Instagram or on Twitter, or, of course, on Facebook. And I will look forward to working with you. It doesn't take much, a single reference photo, and we have some fun together. And, of course, if this continues to see as much growth as it is with everyone here, then guess what? I'll draw it right here on YouTube. All right. I love you guys. Keep it crispy. First Tim 412. I'll see you next time here on Draw2Much. And thank you so much for all of you amazing people. I love each and every one of you. People are incredible. Make me feel wanted. Millennials kind of like that sort of thing. It's called validation. Why not? And you guys are all incredible. So Yordo, Creative, Pocket, you guys are all absolutely fantastic. Thank you for everyone who's been hanging out and watching. Until next time, hit save. I do not want to lose this. And I'm out of here. You guys have a great night. See you next time. Peace out.